All right, let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel for a second, because you might have noticed that the left seemed more up in arms, more outraged, more hyperbolic about Jimmy Kimmel losing his job. His late night show was pulled by Sinclair, which are it's some of the largest ABC affiliates around the country. Jimmy Kimmel is off the air after he ran a segment not only mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but lying about Charlie Kirk's assassin, and lying about Charlie Kirk's assassin in a really nasty way. Not just a nasty way, but part of a coordinated propaganda effort that has been in the works for a decade and is largely responsible for Charlie Kirk's murder in the first place. So let's back up here for a second. When you are a public broadcast network, meaning when you're ABC or NBC or CBS, you have a broadcast license. You're not a cable news network. You have a broadcast license from the federal government. It's issued by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. And part of the terms of your broadcast license is that you are to serve the public interest. Currently, there is a man by the name of Brendan Carr who serves as the FCC commissioner, the head of the FCC. And Brendan Carr made a comment, and this is, of course, why the left is pouncing on this. Not only has Jimmy Kimmel, their favorite leftist, been pulled from air, but Brendan Carr made a comment that ABC can do this the easy way or the hard way. This is following Jimmy Kimmel's lies that he told on air. Brendan Carr was, I think it's fair to say, insinuating that ABC needed to take care of the fact that Jimmy Kimmel was telling such egregious lies on air and was slandering, I think is the proper word for it, slandering half of the country here. So what am I talking about? This is what Jimmy Kimmel said on his show about Charlie Kirk and about Charlie Kirk's assassin. Take a look at this video.
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Okay, so I want to get a couple of things straight here. Jimmy Kimmel has spent the last decade mocking Donald Trump, and he's allowed to do that. He was never fired for mocking Donald Trump, which is an important fact to establish. Jimmy Kimmel was never fired for mocking Donald Trump, and he's been doing it on a nightly basis for the last decade. Very important to note that. Jimmy Kimmel was not fired for making a joke at Donald Trump's expense. He wasn't even fired for mocking Charlie Kirk. As despicable as he is for doing that, which he did, Jimmy Kimmel was fired for lying about Charlie Kirk's assassin, deliberately, falsely stating, you heard it in the video, that the man who assassinated Charlie Kirk was MAGA. Make America Great Again. One of you and I. When that is a lie. Charlie's murderer was a leftist. This has been confirmed by the governor of Utah. This has been confirmed by the FBI. This has been confirmed by the assassin's family. It is unquestionably a fact that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a leftist, captured by leftist ideology. But this kind of vicious, willful, false smear of MAGA, of you and I, is what led to Charlie's murder in the first place. Tyler Robinson, the man who killed Charlie Kirk, falsely believed that Charlie and MAGA at large were hateful. Not because that's true, it's not true, but because people like Jimmy Kimmel have spent 10 years airing malicious, false vilification of everyone who dared to vote for Donald Trump. Enough! ABC did not fire Jimmy Kimmel because he mocked MAGA. They fired him because he lied and libeled half of the country. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's important to understand because the mainstream media and Democrats have spent 10 years falsely accusing Republicans of being fascist and Hitler, and it's despicable. And at the same time, children, yes, like Tyler Robinson, are indoctrinated with violent, revolutionary, neo-Marxist ideology like transgenderism. This happens in schools from kindergarten all the way through college. Tyler Robinson reportedly watched transgender furry porn. This is a man captured by demonic leftist ideology. And that's the reason that Charlie Kirk is dead. The mainstream media and voices like Jimmy Kimmel play a large, even an outsized role in that kind of propaganda. So no, we won't be tolerating this deadly pipeline anymore. If you're a teacher celebrating Charlie's death, you're fired. It's not cancel culture, it's self-defense. If you're a broadcast licensed television network host like Jimmy Kimmel, who grotesquely mocked Charlie's murder by lying about Charlie's assassin's political affiliation in order to demonize us, then you're fired. It's not cancel culture, it's self-defense. And if you don't get this, if you are one of the many people who are posting in outrage on social media about Jimmy Kimmel, but said nothing about Charlie Kirk's murder, well, it's because you're on the left and you never face political violence because the right is peaceful. I hope this clears things up. What's the point of the FCC if it's not to regulate whether licensed broadcast networks are airing content that is in the pub that serves the public interest? We already have rules on the books. It's an FCC violation if you use a certain level of profanity or depict a certain level of obscenity. We already have an understanding in this country that is codified by the existence of an agency like the FCC that morality exists and immorality does not serve the public interest. And if these broadcast networks that have licenses violate this understanding, then their license will be threatened. There's nothing controversial about this. There's nothing groundbreaking about this. This is not a mafia tactic, nothing of the sort. This is the federal government and the FCC behaving in the way that they were always intended to behave. And by the way, to those on our own side who are saying, oh, you're setting a bad example, this really is going to set a bad precedent for the next time the left is in charge of the FCC, I would read to you the words of Mike Cernovich, who wrote, if we're not careful, all of our conservative and right-wing friends are going to lose their late-night shows, their network news anchor positions, professorships, and roles as Hollywood directors. Their films might not even get reviewed by the New York Times. Peril indeed. Because, of course, remember that all of that propaganda apparatus is completely captured by the left. And they've already demonstrated to us their willingness to go after us and to use the government as a weapon to get us because they don't like our politics.